Hey guys, welcome to You the Boss podcast. I'm your host, Pam. Today we're going to be talking about hustle culture, the pros and cons, things like that. So let's dive right in. I want to start off by defining it. As per a Google search, hustle culture is a lifestyle where career has become such a priority in your life or the environment that you work in that other aspects of being human, such as hobbies, family time, self-care, often take a backseat. Now, before I go any further, I do want to say that hustle culture has created some really great things. It's created jobs, it's created opportunities, it's created small businesses that have brought forward to fill a need that we didn't even know we had. Like when you think about hooks, like command hooks, the ones that you can stick onto a surface and it sticks and then you can hang something on it. I don't know when that was invented or who invented that. However, I think it's really cool because I can hang multiple towels in my bathroom and not have them hang on the actual rod in the bathroom. So something like that, somebody invented that, somebody came across that, and I'm sure that they hustled to get it patented, to bring it into people's regular stores or big chain stores just so that everyone had access to it so that they could use it and make their lives easier. I have like a frame in my living room hanging up with a command hook. Like that's amazing. And I'm sure that came from a product of hustling, of being on top of something for a certain period of time and building it and pushing it forward so that it can be what it is today. It's also created a way for us to stay ambitious, right? Like when you hustle, it's because you want more. You want to create more. You want to bring forth more opportunities for people to be able to just do better in the world. Whether you're a public speaker or you bring forward, let's say, a counseling service to a major company, or, you're a wedding photographer, you're a dancer, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, like some type of hustle brought you to where you are. So, obviously hustle is not all bad. It's created a world for all of us to just kind of be competitive, but at the same time, still put forward our best selves. And I think that that's a great thing. It's also created a space in, whether it be therapy, if you're in therapy, or, by the way, therapy is not a bad word, or whether it's a conversation amongst your friends where you're just like, I don't feel like I'm at where I want to be. Almost like a guilt of you're not being productive. I don't like to not be doing anything with my time. Listen, I'm guilty of this. I'm here to always be as transparent as I possibly can. I'm not gonna talk to you guys about something that I'm either not experiencing or haven't experienced. Like that's not the thing here at You the Boss. So I've been the first one to be like, I can't sit still. In recent years, I've had a really hard time watching something or, being able to keep up with like a show, like only watching it one episode at a time because I need to binge it or I can't do it at all. And if I can't just play it in the background and do something else, I can't deal with it. I won't deal with it. And that's, I've done some digging on that, and it's because I've been so used to, number one, connecting one habit with another, which can also be a positive thing. But it also has put me in a space where I can't sit and watch a movie with my husband because I can't sit still. So I've had to do some reflecting on that because I've accustomed myself and my body and my brain to this hustle culture of I'm always doing something. I'm always doing something, going somewhere, doing 87 things at once. And again, while this can be productive, this hustle culture, there's no days off. This is not a productive way to be a human. I'm a fan of small businesses because of the hustle that they bring forward and the ways that they serve us in our communities and the way that they serve not a one size fits all the way like a bigger store brand could bring forward. But at the same time, not everything that you do has to be turned into a small business. I know that we are in the age of putting forward, let's say, for example, you like to bake. You really like to bake. You picked this up during the pandemic, and now you're in this whole other field of wanting to create cakes and cookies and pastries for people. And maybe this is what you've always wanted. You know, you found your passion in the middle of a crazy time in our lives. And then there might be you who thinks that you need to compete with that person who found their passion because you like to bake too. And so now you need to be competitive, and now you need to hustle, and you need to work 7 days, 24 hours to put yourself forward, when really all you want to do is bake. You just want to hang out, bake for your close family and friends, and like not monetize this thing. And so hustle culture has kind of taken from our habits. Same thing if you like to make jewelry, or you like to, something as simple as you like to clean, right? For some people, cleaning is a passion. If someone paid me to organize their closets or their kitchens or anything like that, that is a completely different ball of wax for me. But I would take it upon myself to make that into a business, because that is something I enjoy. And in the future, I hope to put that on my list of hats that I can wear. However, you might just like to clean. You might just really like to have an orderly space, an orderly closet, an orderly kitchen. And now you see someone else coming in with a business and coming in with this hustle. And now you're like, well, maybe I should monetize it. Maybe I should come into this thing. Maybe I should do this. And this hustle culture has created it where like passions and hobbies, they don't all need to be monetized. And you also don't need to be consistently working 18-hour days, 7 days a week. Like, yes, is it healthy to take an allotted period of time and say, you know what, I'm going to take this portion of my life right now and monetize it. I'm going to hone my skills into being, here's a good example that I can think of, becoming a wedding photographer, like specifically a wedding photographer. I don't know anything about photography. I'm just talking off the cuff here in this example. Wedding season goes from like April to like, let's really say the beginning of November. I'm sure it's probably longer. I'm sure, successful photographers can really like put it down to a science, but I'm just saying this as an example. So from April to the end of October, that is 6 months. For 6 months, it's 3 weddings a weekend, every weekend, for 6 months. I don't know how many weekends that is, so I'm not going to give you the number. And for those 6 months out of the year, you work solidly of editing the different sessions and weddings that you do. You do that during the week. And you probably work a full-time job if you're not fully established yet. And then you do this during 6 months. But the other 6 months are devoted to making time for family, making time for friends, doing your traveling, doing the bonding things that during your heavy work season, you're not necessarily able to do without burning yourself out. This kind of hustle culture, in my opinion, is very safe. It is a solid place where you can say, you know what, this is where I'm at, because you do have another 6 months to not only devote to your family and your friends, but also you get to gear yourself back up to your creative space and say, how many weddings do I want to do this year? How many different engagement sessions? Like, you get a space to control your hustle, a place to make sure that you put yourself in check, to say the least. And again, this hustle might look different for everyone, but the point is, your hustle should not be something that you're doing that feels like it's like breathing to you. Again, I know some people might function and say, Pam, this is how I function, 365, 24 hours. I'm always doing something. I'm always working. I'm always this. I'm always that. Yes, but for how long is that going to be a livable place for you? At some point, you're going to catch yourself. Let's say you're doing this hustle 365, 7 days a week. Let's say you're doing this and 5 years down the line, you've alienated or pushed away, or stop taking care of your health, stop taking care of yourself, stop taking care of your mental health because of this hustle culture. Because it's like no days off. And like, these are, regular things that we see on social media, that we see in magazines. Like, I'm not the kind of person that's here to tell you like you should do absolutely nothing every single day and like that's the life that you should live. Again, this is supermarket approach. You take what you like and everything else you can leave it on the shelf. But if you are working to get to a certain place, this is okay. This is safe. But if you're just going to work, you're just running a business, all the above, and you're not taking a time to reflect on what it is that you're doing a couple of things that are really hurting. Number one, you're hurting yourself. You're not properly giving yourself rest. You're not properly giving yourself that self-care, the massage, whatever it is. Number two, you're likely alienating people in your life, people you love, maybe in your own home. If you're single, have no kids, and you're completely alone in the world, God bless. But for 99% of us, that is not us. And so you're hurting those relationships in your life and you're not catering to them, which can also be exhausting, but that is a different topic. And number three, you're not really doing anything for your hustle, because if you are hustling that 365 and you're never giving yourself that rest and you're always constantly on the go, you're never stopping to smell the flowers. When do you get to say, tap on the back, good job, man. Good job, girl. Good job, self. You did that. That was you. Let's say you worked on a project that was 18 months long. It was 18 months where you worked at it, hammered, chipped away, molded, redid, redo. Let's say you did that for 18 months. Still, at the end of that 18 months, you have this project. You get to put it into fruition. You get to do this thing that you said you were going to do. And now that 18-month time period that you dedicated so much time to, you should be able to have something to show for it. Now, hustle culture also promotes that you should always have something to show for it. And you should always have, a structured schedule where I get up at 7 a.m. and I'm not spending time on my phone, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I get all the things that I want done and I go to bed happy every single day. If that is the life that you're living, I'm so happy for you. I would love it if you slid into my email or my Instagram page. I would love it if you told me how you're living your life, because obviously you figured out a hustle that I haven't figured out. And so I would like to learn from you. However, for the 99% of us that are not this way, for the 99% of us who are also human and don't have it solidly figured out, hustle culture is a danger. Some days, and they shouldn't be often, but some days do look like the day where you incubate your talent, your ambition, and you sit and it is uncomfortable to sit. Likely, if you're ambitious, chances are if you're listening to this, you are, then there is a time to curate and to mold and to be. And those are the times that the show the most in hustle. Someone who is constantly on the go and never ever stopping, they are hurting in different ways. They are lacking in different ways, and maybe they're not comfortable with talking about it. But I'm here to bring to the forefront that we should not glamorize hustle culture. We should not glamorize no days off. We should not glamorize, I live on caffeine. I'm an offender here. I love my coffee in the morning. My Café Bustelo is on every single morning. I have a timer on my coffee maker. Like, do not play with me. And then there are days, believe it or not, where I will not have coffee for the day. In fact, that is probably the day that I don't do much other than like take a shower and eat and keep myself alive and clean, which is a lot. That is something to be very proud of. But that day I won't have caffeine. And maybe the next day I won't have caffeine either. Because you know what? It's good to give up that constant hamster wheel of this quote unquote hustle culture and saying to yourself, you know what? The hustle is temporary. It should always be temporary. It may be constant, But you should never, you shouldn't be working 2 jobs, because I'm coming to you from February 2020, Pam. I was working 2 jobs. I was taking care of my network marketing business. I was planning for my brother's wedding at the time. And I can't tell you, between January 15th until March 17th, which is about a solid 60 days, I can't tell you really what I wore, if I did anything for myself, if I got my nails done. I don't think I did do my nails because I didn't have time to go. I very seldom was on top of my water intake. I was eating just to stay alive, not even really eating or taking care of myself. And the pandemic literally stopped me in my tracks. And I know that this is a story that a lot of people can relate to, because we have been so wrapped up in hustle culture and not being productive and all these different things. And I'm just here to tell you that, number one, you're not alone. Number two, this is so normal. It is so normal to just be like, oh my gosh, I feel like I've been doing a whole bunch of nothing. I want to let you know that you're not alone in that creative space. But I also want to let you know that part of being ambitious is, like I mentioned in the previous episode, is setting smaller goals where, you know what, for the next 7 days, I'm just going to move my body 20 minutes, not going to pass the 20 minutes. I'm going to move my body 20 minutes a day. That's what I'm going to do. It doesn't matter if it's at the gym, if it's taking a walk outside, if it's dancing for 20 minutes in your living room, if it's literally doing push-ups and sit-ups for 20 minutes. It doesn't matter. The point is, I'm going to move my body for 20 minutes. And then if you continue to do that, the point is that you get to a point in your hustle where in 3 to 6 weeks, you'll see a difference in yourself. That is the hustle that I believe should be embraced, that I believe we should love and be involved with. It's saying, you know what? I woke up today later than I wanted to. I'm late on how many books I wanted to have read by now on this 17th day or 18th day of the month or of the year. But today, I'm going to just flip that switch a little bit and have a little bit more water and read a little bit more and say to myself, I'm conscious of that. I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm on my way there. And I'm looking at the flowers of the seeds that I've planted. I'm seeing them begin to sprout. And it's also knowing when to take a time to incubate, to hibernate per se, since we're in winter here in Jersey, and saying, you know what? I'm going to take this time to reevaluate what I'm hustling for, and I'm going to reinvest that and re-put my mold into somewhere. Again, like I said at the beginning of this episode, hustle is not all bad. Of course it's not. If it was, we wouldn't have great things from it. But you need to mentally check in with yourself to see if this hustle, if you've just been going for a period of time, or if you've actually obtained some things, and making sure that you give yourself that credit for what you've obtained and making sure that you have a reward that meets that you have obtained. And this is something that I felt I really needed to be reminded of, something that I feel, if it comes to my heart, I want to share it, because I think that we all need to remember that hustling is great when it's short terms. As humans, we are meant to hustle. I believe human beings have ambition, and that is part of what keeps us alive. But I also believe that we needed to take time to smell those flowers. And I want to leave you guys with the statement that you can't pour from an empty cup. Hustling is great. It really is. I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for my ambition and my hustle. But I'm also aware that it's only great if I stop to smell the flowers and I stop to really be thankful for my space and where I'm at. I might not be where I want to be, but I'm most definitely not where I was. And I'm so grateful for the place I'm on my way to. Thank you for listening. Come back next week for another episode of You the Boss podcast.